Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin in a few minutes. Please find your seats and silence your cell phones at this time. The use of cameras and video equipment is permitted throughout the ceremony. However, we ask that you be considerate of other guests and do not obstruct their view. Our ceremony today is being streamed and recorded via Facebook Live, and all chat messages will be archived. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony is about to begin. Please take your seats. All right, at this time, please rise for the posting of the colors and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem, followed by the invocation and cadet creeds. Colors. Post. Let us pray. Lord, we ask that you be with these four today as they take the next steps in their careers, leading our nation's finest. May you give them the strength and guidance to lead and the courage to make tough decisions. And we ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Cadet Creed, I'm an Army cadet. Soon I'll take an oath and become an Army officer, committed to defending the values which make this nation great. I am the past. Honor is my touchstone. I always put mission first and people always. I am the past. The spirit of those words made the final sacrifice. I am the present, the apprentice soldier enhancing my skills in the science of warfare and the art of leadership. But above all, I am the future warrior leader of the United States Army. May God give me the compassion and judgment to lead and the gallantry of battle to win. I will do my duty.
All right, please be seated. Good morning. Welcome to the 2022 Florida Tech Army ROTC Fall Commissioning Ceremony. We would like to extend a special welcome to our distinguished visitors. Florida Tech Interim President, Mr. Robert L. King, Commanding General of the 311th Expeditionary Sustainment Command, Brigadier General John M. Dreska, Dean of Psychology and Liberal Arts, Dr. Robert Taylor, Military Officers Association of America Cape Canaveral Chapter members, U.S. Navy Captain Retired Steve Cusick, and former President Colonel Retired Steve Bond, and Lieutenant Colonel Retired Jack Gingrich. We have gathered here today to witness the commissioning of 5 outstanding cadets who have chosen to defend our Constitution and way of life, a choice of dedication and sacrifice. They have demonstrated dedication not only to the Army, but also to becoming the best possible leaders they can be. This day marks an important milestone of personal and professional progress, as well as a journey down a new path full of learning experiences. We thank you for joining us on this special occasion. I would like to briefly recognize the cadre and staff of the Florida Tech Army ROTC program. Our acting recruiting officer, Second Lieutenant Gabriella Montgomery, our administrative assistant, Ms. Tiffany Dolan, our logistics technician, Mr. Manny Rosales, and our human resources assistant, Ms. Dana Washington. I'm Sergeant First Class Johnson, the military science instructor. Our senior military instructor, Master Sergeant Alan Roche, Captain Patrick Willis, the Assistant Professor of Military Science, and our Professor of Military Science, Lieutenant Colonel James Crook. We are honored to recognize the Interim President of Florida Tech, Mr. Robert L. King. Mr. King has extensive experience in higher education management. In 2000, he was selected to serve as the Chancellor of the State University of New York, SUNY, a 64-campus public university and community college system serving over 415,000 students. In 2009, Mr. King was appointed President of the Kentucky Council for Post-Secondary Education, serving 8 public universities, 16 community colleges and technical colleges, and 20 private and independent institutions. In 2018, he was nominated by the President and confirmed by a bipartisan vote of the U.S. Senate to serve as the Assistant Secretary of Post-Secondary Education in the U.S. Department of Education. Prior to his work in higher education, Mr. King served 3 terms in the New York State Assembly, 1 term as Monroe County Executive, and as a New York State Director of the Division of Budget and the Chief Financial Officer of the State of New York under Governor George Pataki. Since serving as Chancellor of the SUNY system, Mr. King served as Interim President at SUNY Potsdam and as the President of Arizona Community Foundation, responsible for the management of a $500 million endowment supporting education, research, healthcare, and the arts across Arizona. Mr. King has served on the Board of Trustees of Prescott College, a private experimental learning liberal arts institution, and AT Still University, a private medical school training doctors of osteopathy, dentists, and other healthcare professionals. In addition, Mr. King served on the Board of Directors and the National Center on Education and the Economy, and currently serves on the Board of Directors of the Association of Governing Boards. Mr. King earned his Bachelor of Arts degree from Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut, and his Juris Doctor degree from the Vanderbilt University School of Law. Mr. King has 4 grown children, 1 grandchild, and another on the way. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. King, or Mr. King.
Well, good morning and welcome to the first of a weekend of wonderful events here at Florida Tech. Tomorrow we will be conducting 2 commencement exercises, splitting up all of our graduates. I think we have over 1,000 who will be graduating this weekend, some of whom are sitting right in our audience today. I want to thank Lieutenant Colonel Crook for his leadership here on campus and his efforts to motivate and inspire these young cadets who are about to be commissioned officers in the United States Army. And a special thanks to Brigadier General Dreska, from whom you will be hearing in just a few minutes, for joining us this morning. We had a chance to visit over in my office. His headquarters is actually out in this place called Los Angeles. Not quite sure why he wants to go there, but the Army has made him go, but we're delighted that he's chosen to come across the country and join us here in Florida. I want to congratulate our outstanding cadets because you represent what is the best and brightest of our student body here in Florida Tech. To the families and friends who have supported each of you, both in your choice to join ROTC and to serve in our military, and your choice to come here to Florida Tech and support you in what I know are very rigorous studies in whatever coursework you have chosen to pursue. For that support, I'm going to ask our cadets to applaud your families and friends who are here and thank them for all that they've done to get you to this moment. We are very proud of our Panther Battalion ROTC program, and more importantly, so proud of the superb young men and women who serve in it. I don't need to tell you this, but I'm going to say it anyways. You are a part of the greatest fighting force the world has ever known, where determination and duty and discipline meet high-tech training and skill development. And because that's what 21st century soldiering requires. You are the next generation of leaders in troubling times. I'll share with you, I had an opportunity a number of years ago when I was working in the SUNY system in New York to recruit as a campus president the then superintendent of the Naval Academy. And a number of people had been talking with him about coming to SUNY, and the time came for me to fly down to Annapolis and try to, close the deal. And so I was picked up at the airport and driven out to Annapolis, and when I got to the campus at Annapolis, it coincidentally was the very first day for the new plebes. These were young people right out of high school. And because the academy starts somewhere in the middle of July, these kids were literally 3 weeks from their graduations in high school. And what the superintendent told me, he was a 3-star admiral by the name of John Ryan, he said, everything we do here from the moment these young people arrive is about leadership. Leadership. And I mention that because that's what you have chosen, to be leaders. And to be leaders in environments that you can only imagine today, but you will confront at some point in your careers undoubtedly, that puts lives at risk, that makes a difference in the future of our country and the future of the world. Today we face some real daunting challenges in terms of recruiting people into our all-volunteer force, which was first established in 1973 and that the Army faces, and the Navy, and the Air Force, and the Marines, and the Coast Guard. The fact that we're in a post-COVID labor market, there's intense competition for employees to serve in the private sector. But most troubling is the declining number of young Americans interested in uniformed service. According to the Army, currently only 23% of 17 to 24-year-olds Americans are fully qualified to serve. Pandemic-driven constraints like virtual learning have further limited access to the recruiting population in high schools and exacerbated the decline in academic and physical fitness levels among our young people. And while COVID-related practices in our public schools have impacted military recruiting, concerns about the readiness of young people predated COVID. This is why your willingness to serve and the leadership that you will provide is more important than ever before. As you heard, I served as the Assistant Secretary for Post-Secondary Education at the U.S. Department of Education, and it was during that time that I became so acutely aware of these recruitment challenges, because they have been coming for some time now. Modern warfare and modern war fighting, even at the level of private serving in the infantry, takes levels of knowledge and skill far beyond those required just 10 or 20 years ago. I was sharing with the General that during my time in Washington, I went over to the Pentagon to meet with folks there who actually track all of the recruiting issues that the military is facing. And as I took the metro underneath the Potomac River to the Pentagon, you walk through this tunnel over to where security is, and that day, just coincidentally, there was one of those electronic billboards, and it was a recruiting poster. And it was an infantryman fully decked out in combat gear, holding a laptop. And the inscription on it, and I can't remember exactly what it said, but essentially it was saying, America's modern warfighters, powered by artificial intelligence. It was a perfect picture of the challenges that we face and what is demanded today of people who serve. It used to be that we took high school dropouts and said, go into the military and find your way. Not today. Our armed services require a level of academic capacity, math, reading comprehension, that wasn't required 10, 20, 30 years ago. But you are the incoming leaders who will be asked to step up and step in. You're already proving that you're up to the challenge. I encourage you to trust your training and your education. It will serve you well in your future service. And I also applaud your sense of duty. I don't know if you can see this, but I wore this tie today. It's been sitting in my closet. I usually wear a Florida Tech tie when I have to get all dressed up. Those of you who are on campus know that periodically I like to dress down most of the time. But this tie is filled with all sorts of different versions of our American flag. For some people today, it's just a piece of cloth. But for those of you who have made this choice, and for so many more Americans, this symbol means so much. It stands for this remarkable country and the freedoms that we enjoy and sometimes too frequently take for granted. So I applaud your sense of duty and your commitment. That duty is sacred, your duty is honorable, and doing one's duty wholeheartedly with excellence owes to the strength of character, an abiding spirit of resolve, and a devotion to something larger than yourself. You honor us by your choice, and you honor your families and your country by earning the degrees you're going to earn this weekend, and by choosing to become a commissioned officer in the United States Army. I know that your future is bright, and I know our country is safer for your service. Congratulations. It is my honor to be here and participate this morning. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. King. The Military Officers Association of America and the Association of the United States Army are valuable partners in our mission to train the Army's future leaders. In honor of their commitment to the United States Army and future service, MOA is presenting each commissioning cadet with a commissioning set and association membership. Colonel Retired Steve Bond will now share a message with our commissionees.
Thank you. Hey, well, good morning, everyone, and it is so great to be here. This truly is one of those memorable days, and I know there's 4 cadets, soon to be second lieutenants, that you will never forget this day. I guarantee that. So on behalf of the Military Officers Association of America and our 350,000 active, former, retired military officers and their spouses, we congratulate you new lieutenants on completing the training requirements to become second lieutenants in the United States Army, and we welcome you to our ranks. Today is something of a special commissioning for the Military Officers Association of America, Cape Canaveral chapter, or MOAC, and me personally, as your guest speaker, is Brigadier General John Dreska, Jr. Back 3 or 4 years ago, and I think some of the senior cadets may remember, I used to come to these ceremonies, and the guy on the platform was a guy by the name of Major General John Dreska, Sr. So he'd come and he'd present the commissioning sets at the commissionings. He'd come to the award ceremonies that we would give out the MOA awards, and it was always great to hear him talk and provide words of wisdom to the upcoming cadets and the new lieutenants. So sir, it's great to see you here today, and I will tell you, I tried to follow in your father's footstep. I am a poor replacement for him, but we are glad to see you here, and your dad is truly appreciated and fondly remembered by the Cape Canaveral chapter for his work here with what he did with the Florida Tech cadets. Our organization too is very fond of the Panther Battalion, and you have great leadership here, and this is just a great source of commissioning for the United States Army. For those of you that don't know, the Military Officers Association of America is an organization of current, former, and retired military officers that advocates for a strong military and works to ensure the promises made to the military, veterans, and their families are kept. For the new lieutenants, we want you to be able to focus on your important job of defending this great country of ours. And we'll fight the battles in Washington, D.C. to ensure that your pay is fair, and the promises that were made to you and your future families are kept. In other words, we've got your back. By the way, the MOA motto is never stop serving. And you just heard some great words about leadership. Part of that responsibility that comes with leadership is taking care of the troops. And I know that that's why the members of our organization continue to serve, and I hope you will follow in that stead. In addition to advocating for veterans and their families, one of our organization's mission is philanthropy and community service. And I believe that 2 or 3 of the cadets being commissioned today had an opportunity to go on an honor flight. Raise your hand if you had an opportunity to do that. So that's part of what we do as an organization. For the new lieutenants, I will guarantee you that today will mark a major change in your lives. My best advice to you is something you've no doubt heard in your training. Always accomplish the mission and take care of the troops. On behalf of MOA and the Cape Canaveral chapter, we would like to present each of you with a gold bar commissioning set that includes second lieutenant rank and shoulder marks, as well as membership in the Military Officers Association of the Cape Canaveral chapter. I'd like my compatriot, Navy Captain Steve Kuzek, to pass out the awards, and I believe we'll go alphabetical order, starting with Jared Blanco. Over there, Steve. Congratulations, Jared. Nathan Johnson. Julia Siebold, all the way down on the end. And Jonathan Schimmer. So congratulations on attaining this major milestone in your lives, and we wish you the very best of luck as you begin your journey as officers in the United States Army. Thank you.
Thank you. Today's guest speaker, Brigadier General John M. Dreska, commander of the 311th Expeditionary Sustainment Command. Brigadier General Dreska was born at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. He commissioned as a distinguished military graduate and second lieutenant in the Quartermaster Corps from The Ohio State University Army ROTC program in 1992. He received a master's degree in general administration from Central Michigan University, a master's certificate in government contracting from George Washington University, and a master's degree in strategic studies from the Army War College. Before assuming command of the 311th Expeditionary Sustainment Command in Los Angeles, General Dreska served as the director of the Counter-ISIS Train and Equip Fund in Kuwait and Iraq. He also served as the deputy commander of the 311th Expeditionary Sustainment Command, the commander of the 1st Quartermaster Brigade, 94th Training Division, and as an officer in charge of all reserve soldiers at the Tank, Automotive, and Armament Command in Detroit, Michigan. In 2009, he served in Afghanistan as a DoD civilian working as the lead supply and maintenance planner for the President's surge. In 2008, he served with the Multinational Forces Iraq as a brigade-level operations officer and executive officer. From 2005 and 2006, he commanded a logistics support team under the Combined Joint Task Force 76 in Afghanistan. In 1993, he deployed the 79th Quartermaster Detachment from the 101st Airborne Division to Somalia. While in Mogadishu, he served as the Search and Recovery Platoon Leader in support of Task Force Ranger and the United Nations Forces. Over his career, General Dreska has served in numerous acquisition logistics assignments, as well as divisional, brigade, battalion, and company level positions. Brigadier General Dreska received several honors in his career, including the Legion of Merit, the Bronze Star Medal, and 3 Defense Meritorious Service Medals. In 2008, Defense Logistics named him Logistician of the Year. In 2018, General Dreska was named as a distinguished member of the Quartermaster Corps, and in 2019, he was inducted into the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame by Ohio Governor Michael DeWine. Brigadier General Dreska also worked to support the veteran community through an organization that provides scholarships to the children of veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Dreska.
Hey, it's great to be here on such a beautiful day in Florida. Oh my goodness, it's a little cold where I live in Ohio. And I'll tell you what, coming down here really makes me feel good. So I really appreciate the opportunity to come down here. Colonel Crook, please keep me on your list if you have anything else going on in the near future. I'll tell you that. So my fellow veterans, soldiers, family, and friends, it is an honor to join you for today's 2022 Florida Tech Army ROTC Fall Commissioning Ceremony. Again, thank you to Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Crook. My father loved this university and everything that it stood for. I'd like to recognize Florida Tech Interim President, Mr. Robert King, as well as the Dean of Psychology and Liberal Arts, Dr. Robert Taylor, and of course our Military Officers Association of America Cape Canaveral Chapter, U.S. Navy Captain Steve Cusick, former President Colonel Steve Bond, as well as family member Lieutenant Colonel retired Jack Gingrich. Thank you all for making this a wonderful event for all of us. We appreciate your support of our soldiers as we get ready to commission the next generation of warriors. My name is John Dreska, and I am the commander of the 311th Expeditionary Sustainment Command in Los Angeles, California. We have 6,000 soldiers spread across Nevada, Arizona, and California. We constitute 3 brigades and 10 battalions. We are regionally aligned in support of Africa, so we report to AFRICOM. I just came back from Africa this summer. But you will find our soldiers in Poland. We just sent a company to Poland this week, as a matter of fact. Hungary, Cuba, Germany, Syria, Iraq, Kuwait, Jordan, and South Korea, as of this morning, is where our soldiers are all located. I thank all of our leaders and the cadets today for stepping up. It is truly an honor to serve in our great Army. I am short within my command 92 lieutenants right now. 92 lieutenants I'm short. I'm short 94 captains. I have 8 second lieutenants that are company commanders, not platoon leaders, company commanders. I thank you for your service. I thank you for standing up and taking that oath and serving our country. President Ronald Reagan said at the dedication of the Vietnam Memorial on November 11, 1988, "Our liberties, our values, all for which America stands, is safe today because brave men and women have been ready to face the fire at freedom's front. Thank you for answering the call to serve our nation as officers and leaders for all of our great soldiers." I've been in uniform for over 30 years. It's been a true blessing. But I realize the future lies with you, and my time is certainly limited. Make the most of your time. Remember, tomorrow is not promised to anyone. I'm the son of a Vietnam Army veteran, and my father was one of the few Americans to serve in an advisory capacity to Israel during the Yom Kippur War in '73. I was born in an Army hospital, and I grew up in West Germany and South Korea. I wouldn't trade anything in my past for anything in the world. The Army is one big family, and you're soon all about to realize this if you don't know that already. General Colin Powell once said, "There are no secrets to success. It is a result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. You have all proven your worthiness to serve as officers and leaders. Your hard work is why you now will wear lieutenant's bars." Our military is a network of leaders and soldiers that truly is a family. It is a place where one can bond with others and where the bond extends over a lifetime. You will see that a command team is truly the backbone of a unit success. My father served in the Army on active duty for 32 and a half years, and as a military dependent, my family moved to Seoul, South Korea in 1978. When we arrived at Osan Air Base, Command Sergeant Major Albert McMurray and his family greeted us and picked us up for the ride back to our new quarters at Rental Guaranteed Housing outside of Yongsan. Both my father and the Sergeant Major were Vietnam veterans, and they had an unwritten, unspoken communication between them. It is really hard for me to explain. It was like they knew what each other was thinking without having to say it. My dad used to tell me he was the manager of the 227th Maintenance Battalion, but the Command Sergeant Major really ran the battalion. The Sergeant Major's son was Albert McMurray Jr., and we were in 3rd and 4th grade together. And we played soccer in Seoul, South Korea, on the same team. When Command Sergeant Major and Mrs. McMurray went on vacation in Hawaii and in the Philippines, both Albert and his little brother T, they stayed with our family. When my parents went on vacation, we stayed with the McMurrays. That might have been a different time, but it does illustrate a trust, and it shows how successful command teams can be intricately linked together, even to families. When I was promoted to Brigadier General in April of 2021, 4 of my soldiers who were with me in 1993 in Mogadishu, Somalia, joined me, joined me via video to watch the ceremony and cheer me on. Several of my Polish GROM Special Forces team members from our mission in 2020 up in Iraq, including Captain and now Major Chris, were also tuned in for this event via Teams. Whenever I go to Fort Lee, Virginia, my former platoon sergeant, Nigel Williams, is always there to have lunch with me, no matter what. It's been almost 30 years since we served together in the 101st. But that family experience continues even today. We're a great country because Americans aren't afraid to stand up and fight to protect those who can't protect themselves. Many people say that the world's problems aren't our problems and that we should only worry about things back here in America. I'd argue that this same mentality is what allowed Adolf Hitler to run unchecked and cause the Holocaust during World War II. No sane people want war, but sometimes we don't have a choice. As I look back at pictures and journals that I kept from all of my deployments, I know that God and my fellow soldiers and veterans got me through it all. In Somalia, a rocket landed next to my head while I laid sleeping on a cot, but it was a dud and didn't go off. In Afghanistan, I lost eight of my folks in an IL-76 crash at Bagram, and 4 of my soldiers I lost to IEDs down in Kandahar. That did challenge my mental state, but not my faith. And in Iraq, my unit's living trailer was hit by a 120-millimeter rocket just minutes after we had left to all go have dinner together. By 20 minutes, I might not be here to speak with you today. Danger lies at every turn, and we certainly can't predict the future. Again, tomorrow is never promised. Live each day to the fullest, and you will never take anything for granted. And don't take anything for granted. Your training will make you successful. Don't sweat the small stuff on things you can't control. Always do what is right. Learn from the mistakes of others. I work at the Defense Logistics Agency in my civilian job. I work at a place called DLA Land and Maritime. I manage an item, one of my thousands of items on my team, called a BA5590 battery. Doesn't sound very impressive. Looks like a Pop-Tart box, right? It powers the SINGAR's radio for all of our communications. Well, there was a time not that long ago with the budget going and some of the crazy stuff going on out there that Army Material Command decided that they're going to get out of the War Reserve business. And they're going to let combatant commanders manage those items. That item is in our Strategic War Reserve. But there was a problem with the budget and some issues about who was going to do it between the 4-star commanders. So I decided to invest in that battery. I bought a whole bunch of those batteries. I bought 3 years worth of batteries. And I got one of the biggest reprimands you ever saw. Because I spent money we didn't have. Under a working capital fund, for every dollar you sell, you have to bring in $1. But I put 3 years worth of inventory on the shelf. I shouldn't have done that. But I had read a lot of stuff. See, during Desert Storm, we ran out of those batteries. Okay? It's a good thing it was a short war. And in Operation Iraqi Freedom, we were 1 day from running out of those batteries. Okay? I will tell you, earlier this year, the Russians crossed over into Ukraine. And in a 6-week period, I used 2 years worth of those batteries. 2 years worth of stock. I got one of the biggest congratulations of all time. I put it right next to my reprimand. See, that battery not just powers the SINGAR's radio, that is what powers the Javelin missile. Okay? That's a pretty important battery out there. There's one other item I'll tell you about. Okay? It's called a tire. And you don't think much of it, but the Russians have learned a very tough lesson. Okay? Every single vehicle that we have, every heavy and medium tactical vehicle in the Army and the Marine Corps has one tire on it. Well, it's actually two different people make it. But it's either called a Michelin XCL, you'll see them out here on the interstate, or you'll see the Goodyear MVT tire. Okay? I'll tell you what, the Russians have the exact same duplicate tire on their trucks. Same size, same shape, same tread, same bolt pattern. But there's a difference between their tire and our tires. Our tires cost $1,000. Their tires cost $200. Their tires came from China. Okay? I will tell you what, it doesn't take much to realize how many dead Russian trucks are out there, how many blown up on that main effort coming down from Belarus. They couldn't leave the road, right? Because they couldn't get out there into that soil because it was all too muddy for them out there. So they had to stay on the roads. They were channeled. And those tires were getting flat because they were bad quality tires. And when you got a flat tire, you can't outrun people that are trying to hunt you down. Why do I tell you this? Because there will never be a substitute for common sense. There's never a substitute for quality, and good planning will take you far in your careers. Taking care of people is the most important thing that you need to focus on. And here are my 3 pieces of advice as I wrap this thing up. Okay? Manuel Diaz was one of my platoon sergeants. He got so mad at me, he said, "Sir, don't do dumb damn things." And I'll tell you what, he was pretty mad at me. And I won't go into all the details, but he was furious with me. What does that mean to you? Don't do dumb damn things. I mean, don't ever take chances with safety. Never take chances. That means you're going to test fire your weapons before you go on a convoy. You're going to bring extra ammunition. You're going to bring extra water with you. And you're going to put extra fuel. You're going to put fuel, top off all your vehicles before you ever leave a perimeter. You'll top everything off. Why do you do that? Well, let me give you an example on the fuel. My fuel gauge says it was full. And I took a convoy outside the wire. And we ran out of gas. But that gauge said it was full. Gauges can be wrong. Never take chances with that. That truck got shot to pieces. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for 214 infantry that was at a checkpoint about a mile away that heard the firefight and came to bail us out in Somalia. My first day in the Army was the 5th of July, 1992. And myself and 3 other lieutenants were arguing with the captain, our TAC officer, about something. And he said, "Suck it up, Buttercup. Nobody said life is fair." You know, that's true. But in 1995, Sergeant Donnie Martin squared me away. Let me tell you what he said to me. I had just told my entire platoon we're going to work through the weekend to inventory a warehouse at the 101st Airborne Division because we didn't get it done. Damn it, we're going to stay in here and we're going to get this done. Everyone said, yes sir, roger on, we'll get it done, we'll get it done, we'll get it done. Sergeant Donnie Martin comes up to me, young kid. He said, sir, can I have a moment of your time? I said, sure. What's up? He said, hey, why are we going to do this? We're the leaders that failed the soldiers. We're the ones that should stay and do the warehouse. And I said, just suck it up, Buttercup. And he said again, he said, sir, I get it. Nobody said life is fair, but why are we being unfair to the soldiers? The leaders failed, not the soldiers. So always remember that. Life isn't fair. You don't know who's suffering. You don't know who has a sick loved one, who has a sick child. Treat people with dignity and respect. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Life is too short, right? Take care of one another. And my third piece of advice that I'd like to share with you actually came from my father. He said, don't worry about your evaluation. Don't worry about your NCOER. Don't worry about that OER. Don't worry about your award. Take care of your soldiers, and it will right itself. I'll tell you what, that also means giving people second chances. And I wouldn't be here if somebody hadn't given me a second chance. I'll tell you that right now. And I do that. You have to do it on a case-by-case basis. Always think that through. About 2 weeks ago, I should have thrown 12 soldiers out of the Army for drug offenses. And I'll tell you what, I didn't. Every single one of them had between 10 and 30 letters of recommendation. And I'm talking marijuana, I'm not talking hard drugs. But 10 to 30 letters of recommendation from their entire chain of command. They got in trouble 2 to 3 years ago, and the slow Army justice system was just catching up with them. I'll tell you what, I suspended every single one of those punishments. You know what? They could have quit, they could have gone the other direction, but they continued to serve. Even being flagged and not being able to get promoted, they continued to serve and realized they had made mistakes. Give people second chances, okay? Now, look at what they do, of course, but give people second chances. So these are the basic tenets I leave with you. I've always followed them. And you'll have yours that you'll develop over time. But I share those three with you because I think they're important. So in closing, I ask that you please always remember the sacrifices of the men and women who have gone before us. Their actions in peace and during times of war make it possible for us to assemble here today, united under one American flag. Remember our great veterans and the sacrifices made that got us here today. Thank you for inviting me to share these words with you. May God bless you, our veterans and families, and the United States of America. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for your service, mission first, people always. And as we like to say in Los Angeles, valet, which means be strong, be worthy, and prevail. Thank you.
At this time, our Cadet Battalion Commander Jared Blanco would like to present our guest speaker with a little token of appreciation.
Where up there? Can I open it? Of course, sir. Okay. It's not going to jump out at me or anything?
This is Florida Tech swag, sir.
Oh, hey. Hey, look at that. Hang on a second. Hang on, there's more. I like it. Oh, look at that. I love t-shirts. I love t-shirts. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's awesome.
Hold that for a second.
I'm going to take a quick look. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. That is cool. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. And before I get out of here, make sure all of you, the cadets that get commissioned, I'm going to give you my phone number. If there's anything I can do for you, you know, you reach out to me. I say that to my 6,000 soldiers, and I mean it. I always give people my phone number because if you might need somebody someday. 3-4 years from now, 5 years from now, I might not be able to help you, but if there's anything I can do for you, I mean it. I appreciate your service to this country, and I'll do anything I can to make sure that you're successful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The commissioning ceremony has 3 distinct portions. The first portion is the oath of office. The oath of office is a solemn affirmation of service recited upon commissioning. The current oath of office has been adapted over the years from the Continental Congress in 1775. A copy of the oath is provided in the program. The second portion of the ceremony is the pinning of rank. Each new lieutenant will have their rank attached by a person or persons of their choice. Prior to World War I, no rank insignia existed for the second lieutenant. The gold bars in use today were first introduced in 1917, adapted from the bars that had been worn by captains and first lieutenants since 1836. The final portion of the ceremony is the exchange of the first salute. Since antiquity, men of arms have rendered some form of saluting as an exchange of greeting. As early as the age of chivalry, knights customarily raised their visors with their right hand, the sword hand, when greeting friendly comrades. This tradition, modified to the salute we use today, continues as a sign of respect from subordinate soldiers to their seniors. The tradition of receiving one's first salute is a significant one. A respected non-commissioned officer, warrant officer, or junior enlisted soldier of the newly commissioned officer's choosing renders the salute. This symbolizes the willingness of the soldier to follow this officer's leadership even into battle. The new officer then returns the salute, accompanied with a handshake and the traditional gift of a silver dollar coin. This small token symbolizes the appreciation that the officer has for the great responsibility of their commission and in recognition of the priceless sacrifice of the soldier. Cadet Seibold, post. Cadet Julia Seibold is graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Ocean Engineering. She is commissioning active duty as a second lieutenant in the engineer branch and will report to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for Basic Officers Leaders Course. The oath of office will be administered to Cadet Seibold by her grandfather, Lieutenant Colonel retired Jack Gingrich.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Julia Seibold,
I, Julia Seibold,
do solemnly swear to support and defend
do solemnly swear to support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and to faithfully serve and my allegiance to the same,
and to faithfully serve in my allegiance to the same,
and I will also bear true faith and allegiance,
and I will also bear true faith and allegiance,
and I will also do serve well my duties and the duties of my office I'm about to be appointed to and serve.
one at a time.
And I will faithfully discharge the duties to which I'm to be appointed to.
And I will faithfully discharge the duties of which I will be appointed to.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
Second Lieutenant Seibold's mother, Laura Lee, and her father, Andreas, will now pin her shoulder boards.
Looking good, Julia.
Second Lieutenant Seibold will now receive her first salute from Master Sergeant Alan Roach. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Julia Seibold. Cadet Blanco, post. Cadet Jared Blanco is graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Software Engineering. He is commissioning as a second lieutenant in the Florida National Guard as a Cyber Operations Officer. The oath of office will be administered to Cadet Blanco by his brother, First Lieutenant Jordan Blanco.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jared Blanco,
Having been appointed an officer
have been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States,
in the Army of the United States,
as indicated above,
as indicated above,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support and defend
to support and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic.
I take this obligation freely,
I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
on which I am about to enter.
in which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Woo!
Second Lieutenant Blanco's mother, Sarah, and father, Alexander, will now pin his rank.
Looks good, Blanco.
Thank you guys. Love you guys.
Me too.
Second Lieutenant Blanco will now receive his first salute from our former senior military science instructor, Master Sergeant Arsenio Rodriguez.
All right.
Thanks,
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Jared Blanco. Cadet Johnson, post. Cadet Nathan Johnson is graduating with both a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and Mathematical Sciences. He is commissioning as a second lieutenant in the Army Reserves as an engineer officer. The oath of office will be administered to Cadet Johnson by his mentor, Major Dan Gill.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nathan Johnson,
Having been appointed an officer
having been appointed an officer
in the Army of the United States
in the Army of the United States
to the rank of second lieutenant,
to the rank of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and willfully discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
Second Lieutenant Johnson's mother, Christy, father, Keith, and friend Jaime will now attach his rank.
Don't get us in trouble at the last minute.
He hasn't done it many years. I figured it's my turn now, right?
Looks good, Johnson.
Thanks, sir.
Second Lieutenant Johnson will now receive his first salute from his friend, Specialist Retired Lucian Gandolfo.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Nathan Johnson. Cadet Scheimer, post. Jonathan Scheimer is graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering. He is commissioning as a second lieutenant in the Florida National Guard as an ordnance officer. The oath of office will be administered to Cadet Scheimer by his friend and colleague, Second Lieutenant Stephen Sire.
I state your name.
I, Jonathan Scheimer,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
I will support the family Constitution.
to support the Constitution of the United States
Against all enemies.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
I will bear true faith
I bear true faith
and allegiance to the same.
and allegiance to the same.
And I take this obligation freely.
And I take this obligation freely
And any reservation.
without any mental reservation
For purpose of the nation.
or purpose of evasion.
Well and faithfully.
I will and faithfully
Discharge your duties.
discharge the duties
To the office of
of the office of my editor. So help me God.
All right.
Second Lieutenant Scheimer's father, First Sergeant Retired Michael Scheimer, and Mother Ann will now attach his rank.
Looking good, Scheimer.
Second Lieutenant Scheimer will now receive his first salute from his brother, CW3 Keith Patillo. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Jonathan Scheimer. At this time, Lieutenant Colonel Crook will share his closing remarks.
Good morning. Thanks to all those that could be here in person and to those watching us, supporting us online for these 4 outstanding second lieutenants. It's a special day that they're always going to remember. Mr. King, thank you for supporting Florida Tech's ROTC program. Some of my peers across the country are not as fortunate. You lead by example, and that's something we teach here in ROTC. Dean Taylor, it's tough to put into words your level of support. Quantifying bullets are always important and good, so a 10 out of 10 for your support to our program, sir. General Dreska, thank you for your commitment to following in your father's footsteps in many ways, including supporting this ROTC program. Your leadership is needed, and we are grateful for your continued service. You are welcome here anytime to the Panther Battalion, as the Dreska family has a special place here. MOA and Colonel Retired Bond, your support is unwavering, and you continue to bless our cadets. Thank you for volunteering your time to ensure the next generation of leaders are set up for success. To the families and friends of these 4 second lieutenants, they did it, but they did not do it alone. I'm confident your guidance, wisdom, and a few bucks here and there got them to this point. Today may feel like the culmination of 4.5 years, but it's also the start of an amazing journey. You're gonna be leading America's finest soldiers as a commissioned officer. Today, the Army is receiving 4 of the best lieutenants ROTC has to offer. They will enter all 3 components of active duty, Army Reserves, and National Guard. I would like to take just a minute and share a few of their accomplishments over the last 4 years. The #1 cadet in the Florida National Guard Order of Merit list. Captain of the team and 4-year NCAA athlete. Gold German Armed Forces Proficiency Badges. Recondo Badge, the highest individual award at advanced camp. Distinguished Military Graduates. President of the Rugby Club. Outstanding ratings, the highest individual rating at advanced camp. The highest combat fitness test score in the Panther Battalion. The leader of an ROTC mentorship group. A fraternity member, an ocean engineer, a software engineer, mechanical engineer, dual major, both math and mechanical engineering, Air Assault School graduate, NSA internship, NASA research, Ranger Challenge team members and captain, color guard, and Norwegian Foot March badge. The list goes on, but they lead all across campus, not just in ROTC. To say that I'm proud of these 4 is an understatement. I am honored that the Army and each of you allowed me to share this journey with you. At different times throughout this program, we may have not always seen eye to eye, but we found a way to overcome obstacles and succeed. I don't lead perfectly, nor will you. Take the good from each leader and continue to refine your techniques. I'm humbled by your willingness to serve your country because I know that each of you has many options, but you're willing to choose this path. Our nation remains free because of men and women just like you. Please remember that I will answer your calls and your emails, and if you should ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask. Seize the opportunity.
At this time, please stand for the retiring of the colors and remain standing for the playing of the Army song. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the newest lieutenants in the United States Army. And for those attending the ceremony virtually, we invite you to visit our Facebook page where we'll post today's video and you may offer your congratulatory comments there. This concludes today's ceremony. Thank you and have a great day.
All right.